Okay, General Maths students, welcome to the first video on depreciation. In this video, we're going to study straight line method depreciation. Now, what is depreciation? Well, when you buy something, generally the value of that thing decreases over time. Generally, we use the context of business in this course, where businesses are buying equipment, so they might buy computer equipment, or they might buy cars for a car fleet or something like that, and it loses value over time. And the important thing to remember is that we can generally claim depreciation against taxable income. So that's usually the important part at the end of these questions. So let's have a go at this question here, where we've got a 3D printer and its purchase price was $5,800. As you can see, I've highlighted here, and it's going to be depreciating by 15% of its purchase price every year. So in this question, we've got to work out the amount of depreciation each year. And in the straight line method depreciation, that stays the same all the time. Sometimes they'll just tell you the amount of depreciation, but in this, they're giving it to us as a percentage, which is just a tiny bit trickier, but not much. So part A asks us to calculate the depreciation each year. So we're going to take that 15% and convert it to a decimal by dividing by 100, which gives us 0.15. And if we multiply that by the purchase price, that will give us the amount of depreciation each year. So 0.15 times 5,800 is $870. Okay. So that's part A done. Now they're asking us to use a formula, rather, to find the value of the 3D printer after 6 years. So the general formula for straight line depreciation looks like this, where we have V equals negative dn plus C. So I haven't got the explanation of the variables in this video on this presentation, but you may have the textbook handy, and you'll be aware that V is the value after n years. So that's what V means. The D, capital D, is the depreciation per year. We just found that out. That is $870. That's the same as that one there. N is the number of years, and C is the original cost, or the purchase price. So that there is our 5,800 from before, the original cost. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this formula. We know that V is equal to negative 870 N plus 5,800. So you can see I've put the D and the C. We always need to work those out and put them into the equation. Now they're asking us for 6 years, so that means N is equal to 6. Rub that out. N is equal to 6. So we're going to put 6 into this equation. Negative 870 by 6 plus 5,800. So the value after 6 years, let's work that out. So we've got negative 870 by 6 plus 5,800. is $580. Okay, so that's the value after 6 years using a formula. You could have just counted down, taking $870 off each year, but because they asked us to use the formula, we needed to do that in that equation. However, we're about to do that now. We're going to do the depreciation table. We're going to check whether this matches up with the calculation we've just made. So the depreciation table. I'm going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to get you to pause the video and you can finish this off yourself, and I will reveal a completed table afterwards. So just a couple of things with this one. Okay, so the depreciation we've worked out is $870, and I can fill in this whole column here because I know that the amount of depreciation is the same each year, right? I'll just go and do that. Okay, that's the same each year. Now the accumulated depreciation, that's the total over time. So year adding on to year as we go. So after 1 year, well, we've still just got $870 of depreciation. So what's the value of the car at the end of this year? Well, we started at $5,800 and you take off $870. Now the car's worth $4,930. So we'll put that there, 4930. Now that number transfers to the start of the next year. So I'm just putting, and then we take 870 off that. So this one, take another 870, gives 4060. So 4060. Now what do we put in accumulated depreciation? Well, it's 2 lots of 870, which gives us 1740. So we add the depreciation amount, add another 870 onto this as we go along. And so this 4060 will transfer to the next year and we'll run it again. I'm going to stop now and ask you to pause the video and complete this table in your own time. And then in a few moments, I'll resume and I'll show you the completed depreciation table and you can see if yours matches up. Okay, so this is what you should have got. Okay, and we can see that after 6 years, we did get 580 at the end, so it matches our equation. So just check that you got all the numbers right there. That is the completed depreciation table. Okay. Part D, plot a graph of the 3D printer, of the value of the 3D printer. Okay. Now, so we're going to start at $5,800, which is right on here at 0 years, and go from there, plotting the points as we go. So once again, I'm going to get you to pause the video now and see if you can figure out how to plot these points and then join them with a line. It's straight line method. So if you're finding you're not getting a straight line, something's going wrong. So it should be a straight line. Okay, you guys go ahead, pause the video. Okay, so I'm going to resume now. This is what the graph looks like. Oh, where is he? There he is. So there are the points all plotted, pretty much the correct spots. You should have something that looks pretty much like this. Now I've got to go ahead now and join the dots with the line and ruler. So there is our straight line method graph plotted. Okay, so use your formulas to predict the value of the printer after 10 years. What would the actual value of the printer be at this time? Okay, so if we putting n equals 10 into this, then we've got V equals negative 870 by 10. That's 5,800. So let's work that out. Negative 870 by 10 plus 5,800 takes us into the negatives, negative 2,900. Now, it's very difficult to say whether this is really accurate. I mean, can the value of the printer really go below 0? If it's not worth anything, then I'll probably just chuck it away or give it away. It won't cost them any money necessarily, although sometimes, you do have things that you need to pay people to take away, like a wrecked car or a broken down car might cost you some money to have it towed. So kind of technically, maybe we could have a negative value, but I think let's just keep it relatively simple here and say that the actual value would be 0. We'll just simplify things that say that we can't really go into the negatives because probably someone would be willing to just take this 3D printer off their hands for nothing if it was valued below 0. Okay, thanks for watching. Go ahead and try some straight line method questions.